Class is in session. MLB hitting the book show Friday, June 13th. Ian Cameron with you. It's the end of another week and a big Friday slate, as we always have in MLB. So let's get right into it. We've got a few games that are going to be starting in about an hour from now, 6:30 Eastern. We'll start with those games. We've got Miami and Washington. Edward Cabrera, Mitchell Parker, the pitching matchup here. Even money, both sides, 8.5 the total. Edward Cabrera is really pitching well after a slow start to the year. He's really started to come on strong, play a lot better here for the Miami Marlins of late. Certainly in good form. Mitchell Parker, not so much. Mitchell Parker at home has actually kind of struggled. So I actually think the Fish could get it done here. I'm always a little sketchy of the bullpen, but I like Miami here. But I'm going to split it with first five and full game. I just like the form of Cabrera right now, pitching well. And I think the Marlins can, not a great road team, but I do think they have the potential here in this spot to get the job done. The smaller bet on the over too, but because I do worry about the state of both pens. But like I said, we will definitely lean over here with the game as well with the Marlins and the Nationals. All right, I think C-Mac's in the house. Here he is.
Yeah.
The one and only. What do you think here, Connor? First game, Miami and Washington.
Well, I don't have anything in this game. I mean, I don't think there's a ton of value on either side. I do want to back Parker a little bit more at home, where he's just kind of got shit on the road. So I leaned the Nats way. You know, one thing, their bats have been cold finally, you know, and the Marlins finally playing some unders as well. I want to point that out. I did look at this under a little bit, but I'm off.
Jays and Phillies. We've got Kevin Gossman and Ranger Suarez on the mound. Minus 110 even money, both sides, 8 the total. When it was still plus money, I took Toronto. I mean, Toronto, how do you not take them right now? They're 12-2 in their last 14 games. They've been hitting the ball like crazy. I think they can keep it going here. I know the Phillies, had a decent series against the Cubs earlier this week, but I still don't fully trust their band members. Still no Bryce Harper that they're dealing with right now. In this lineup, I just like what I'm seeing out of the Jays. You give me plus money with them, okay, I'll take it. So I did Toronto plus money here in this one. Toronto team total over 3.5. I split it up with that as well because I'm telling you what, they're scoring 4 runs or more almost every game lately. So to get their team total at 3.5, I think it's worth it here. And I would lean over because they've been tons of overs with the Jays lately too. It's only 8. So I dabbled in that as well. C-Mac, what do you think here? The red hot Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, this line's come down. I mean, I don't want to really get in front of the Blue Jays. I think other people can look at this with the Phillies a little bit scuffling in their bats, but I mean, you have Suarez, who's been really, really good for the most part of the year on the mound. So I get why people look at him. But we kind of talked about it days ago. They're just going to have to, get life without Harper. And Alec Bohm I was talking about in the 3-hole. Castellanos had some good numbers. There's a few guys I looked at props here. He was one. He's in the 4-hole. Gossman can be good. He's been bad on the road. Last year I think he had a really great ERA on the road. So what do we get there? Because I've seen him just get ripped and have really, really good starts. So yeah, I get why you're on the Jays. I mean, this line came all the way down. It seems like a lot of love for him.
So the rumblings are true. I thought I saw when I went live for this show today, just like before we started a few minutes ago, I just happened to, my YouTube feed came up. I saw Betting with the Bag live streaming now. And I'm like, what the fuck? Jimmy's show is still going? He starts at noon. It's still fucking going. And it was apparently as of like 15, 20 minutes ago. 5 hours friggin' show for Jimmy the Bag with Betting with the Bag today. Holy fuck. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
5 hour show. How does he do it? I have no idea. But that's amazing. That's dedication, man. I give him credit. 5 hours breaking down the card for the day. I didn't know the card was that big to have to spend 5 hours on it like he did today. But somehow, some way, he did. Crazy. It is crazy. Yeah. But credit to Jimmy, man. That is like I said, pretty wild that it was over a 5 hour show. Pretty well done. That's impressive stuff. Angels and Orioles. We've got the Orioles minus 190 home favorites, 10 the total in this game. I was very tempted to take the Angels because anytime I see Baltimore laying minus 190, I feel like asking, are you fucking nuts? But Kohanovic is not very good. He's not very good at all. I don't think I could back him. So the over I'd bet, but now I'm a little bit concerned because there is some rain in the forecast tonight at Camden Yards, but which always worries me when I'm on an over. But how do you not see runs in this game with these two pitchers? C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, in the last bit, I mean, it's dropped to a 10. There's basically 10s everywhere. I don't know what we get with the Angels. There's just no way I could back the Orioles. This seems like a good spot to score some runs after just getting what they get 1 yesterday against Screwball. So 10 the day before that with whatever they had 8 in the 8th inning. Morton's been a little bit better, but this price with him, I can only look the Angels. Yeah, I think it can get over too, rain or not. I didn't bet the over, especially when I saw 10.5. So I know there are 10s now, like I just said, everywhere, but I haven't bet it.
Yankees and Red Sox. We've got Ryan Yarbrough for the Yankees and Garrett Crochet for the Red Sox. Lefties battle here. Boston minus 145. Home favorites, 8.5 the total. Not really a whole lot here. I want to back Crochet, but I don't know if I want to do it at minus 145 when the Yankees are leading the division, the better team so far this year. And you have to lay minus 145 against them if I want to back the Red Sox and Crochet. That is my lean, but I didn't love the price enough. C-Mac, what do you think here? Yankees, Red Sox.
Yeah, I'll take the Yankees here at this price, plus 125. Yarbrough just got his ass drilled, which is a little bit normal after some really, really good starts, especially that one at Dodger Stadium. And Crochet, he won that game that he just gave up 5 runs to the Yankees. So I think he could pitch better. This leads me, I also like this under here, 8.5. I think Yarbrough's better. And I think after giving up 5 runs, the Yankees just saw him. Now the Yankees, doesn't really matter. It seems like we just saw Bubic. What lefty is out there? They've just been ripping lefties.
Yep. That's true.
Right and left. There's some good numbers. Bellinger, 4 for 5 with a homer off him. That was looking at some really good prices. RBI's plus 175. His homers plus 600. So, but yeah, I think I got to take the value here with the Yanks and lean on it.
Reds and Tigers. We've got Detroit minus 130, home favorites, 8 the total. I lean Detroit here, but Reds have been playing some better baseball, and Nick Martinez has been surprisingly solid for them. So I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. I don't think he's going to continue this for the entire season, and it does feel, with Tigers at home, there's a pretty reasonable, cheap price on them. Herter has not been awful here in the first couple times we've seen him start in a spot role for the Tigers as the lefty. So, I think there's some value on Detroit here, but I've got better options on the card than this. It's just a lean. C-Mac, how about you? Reds, Tigers.
Yeah, Martinez has been. I jumped on him on the road with the Cubs. I'm going to go back to it here. I mean, this isn't like the best weather. I know the wind was blowing in slightly here. What are we at? Right around 10, but it's clear enough. I was making sure this is slight rain, maybe 50% chance. I think we're good there. But I was trying to look more and back him at home, fade him on the road. And I don't think he's a 3-7. He's pitched well, his record's 4-6, but I think he's more of the 5 type guy. But yeah, I took the Tigers team total. So I got over the 2.5. I've been trying to jump on these with a pitcher I don't like at plus money. Like this would be different. If this is minus 120, the Tigers over 2.5 is something I don't want to look at. And that's why I try to get on and look at their bullpens and go full game, half game. So if I get Martinez, I get Tigers first 5 over 2.5 plus 120. I'm on.
All right, we got the Rays and the Mets interleague action here. Taj Bradley for the Rays and Clay Holmes for the Mets. Mets minus 180, home favorites, 8 the total in this game. Mets, look, they've been obviously phenomenal at Citi Field this year. I mean, one of the best home records in the major leagues. Well, they have a good record overall, but 27-7 at home for this team. We just saw them sweep Washington 3 straight games at home. Clay Holmes has been at home pretty solid. Got into some trouble against Colorado and against Pittsburgh. He struggled a bit at home, but did pitch well against the White Sox. We'll see how he fares here in this one. Taj Bradley, an enigma. He was really starting to get going. 2 runs allowed to Houston, 3 runs allowed to Minnesota, 1 run against Houston. He pitched well again against the Astros. And then he got absolutely ambushed last time against Miami. So just when you think Taj Bradley's turning a corner, he has a blow up like he had against Miami. That being said, the only thing I'm hesitant on is because the Mets are so good at home. It's been automatic. They've just been winning games at home all season. But I am very tempted by Tampa here at plus 150. This price with Bradley, hoping he can bounce back a little bit. I'm very much. I'm going to sprinkle on the Rays at this price. I feel like even with the Mets' dominance at home, it's a little bit overpriced here. Clay Holmes, by the way, like I said, 2 of his last 3 home starts, he's given up 3-4 runs, so he's not been nearly as effective. I also think I lean over a little bit. We talk about how the Rays, have been hitting for the last couple of weeks, and we saw the Mets score during this win streak. The Mets have scored 4, 8, 13, 5, 5, 4. Total's only 8. I think we could squeeze an over out of this game, quite honestly. C-Mac, what do you think here? Tampa, New York Mets.
Yeah, I didn't take the total. It might be too low. I lean under, but I thought the 8 was just a little bit too light in this one. Clay Holmes, yeah, this guy just keeps on pitching well. He's been pitched well home and on the road. His road's even been better, but he's been good here. The Mets have Soto, McNeil's been swinging a hot bat. This lineup's starting to get going. Nimmo, but I can't back them at this price. I don't want a -1 or anything. I just didn't see enough value, at least with Bradley on the road, to take the Rays.
Colorado and Atlanta, German Marquez and Bryce Elder, the pitching matchup here. Atlanta -340. Look at that price, 340 in this one. The total here 8.5. I think the over could get there. I'm still not a big Elder fan. I'm not sold. The question is Colorado not going to hit on the road? And we've seen this. This has been the same old song and dance all fucking season. Feels like it's been the same song and dance for 3-4 years and counting with the Rockies. Can't hit, can't win on the road. But I don't trust Elder. I don't think he's that great. 4.11 ERA for him. We'll see how he fares here in this particular matchup. German Marquez has been awful. 5.19 ERA his last 5, but even worse for the full season. What is it? His full ERA is 7. It's bad. 7 right on the nose. 7.00 ERA on the season for German Marquez. So I'm going to take a shot with over 8.5. If you can stomach it, I could only take the Rockies at this price, but I don't have to, and I don't want to with Marquez. And I also don't want any part of Atlanta at this price. So I'm just going to go to the over, and hopefully these teams can do enough damage to get there for me. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't trust Elder enough going through everything, because what I wanted to look through when I went to this game was Rocky score some runs. They're off the big win, the comeback. After having a lead and blowing it, as we talked about with their pen in the first 2 games of that series, just classic. Blow up, lose the game in those 2. They come back and win 8-7. The bats come alive. This seems like the perfect spot. They're going to go on the road and score any? I don't think so. This was the closest bet for me. It's a strong lean. Was their team total. It's just 2.5. It's plus 120. I just didn't trust Elder here. Going through all the numbers, I just couldn't do it.
I mean, it's 3 runs, guys. Surely you can score 3 runs tonight.
Well, I mean, I know, but I've seen him cash this a ton for me. But Goodman, there's small samples. He's got a home run. There was some other stuff that in the end kept me off. And Marquez has just gotten ripped. He's gotten tattooed. Olsen was 6 for 13. Verdugo 4 for 8. Albies was 6 for 14 with a couple homers. So maybe just the Braves team total here, as Marquez just been awful.
Chicago White Sox, Texas Rangers. We've got Adrian Hauser on the mound for the White Sox, and it looks like finally we have an announced starter for the Texas Rangers. Sean Armstrong is going to make the start here. He's been a reliever all these years. I remember he's with the Rays organization years ago, and St. Louis Cubs. Now he's with Texas, so he's been around the block. This guy, minus 190. I'm going to dabble in Chicago here. Hauser's actually been serviceable. He's given up 4 runs in his first 12.1 innings so far. He's been solid in both games. Armstrong, they're going with a bullpen day for Texas, and I know they're starting to hit Texas finally. Let's give them credit. Finally, the lineup is starting to come alive for them. 4 of their last 5 they've won. They have a good home record too, but still, we're talking minus 190 in this, in this kind of a price range with the Texas Rangers. I know they're starting to come out of their offensive funk, but still, I'm not ready at this price. And the White Sox, they're scrappy. They've been, competitive at least a little bit. Even in the losses, they've been, in the game at least a little bit here. The Houston game 4-3, the last game of that series against Valdez, they hung in there. They only lost by 1. Yeah, I think this could be a dog that could get it done here, Chicago. We'll see. But it's just, to me, Texas is overpriced a little bit. C-Mac, what do you think here?
Yeah, I think the price is too big. Yeah, the bats for the Rangers, a few games. I mean, two of those games, 16 runs. I think it just kind of helps the numbers in the end. You know what I mean? Hauser's the key here. Like, if he's good, that's why I like this under, then I think the White Sox are in it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing is if he gets hit here, which I've seen in the past, but to start the year and just what he's had, those 4 starts, he's looked pretty good, and 2 of them on the road at New York, at Baltimore.
Yep.
So I'm on the under 8.5.
All right, under the total here for Connor with the White Sox and the Texas Rangers. All right, St. Louis and Milwaukee, nice little NL Central rivalry battle here. We've got Milwaukee minus 165 in that range. It looks like minus 160. Home favorites. The total here sitting at 7.5 across the board. We got fast Freddie Peralta on the mound here for the Milwaukee Brewers in this one. You look at Peralta's numbers, very good, 2.69 ERA. He's given up 3 runs or less in 5 straight starts. Now, what's crazy is Milwaukee's only 2-3 in his 5 starts. They haven't always given him great run support, or the bullpen has kind of blew the game for them. But you look in the Peralta starts, they scored 5, 6. In the last 2, they were shut down, but they've scored some runs. Fetty, what are you going to get from Fetty? Fetty had a shutout in his last start against the Dodgers, pitched very well, although he has had 7 walks in his last 2 starts. And to me, that's a red flag with Eric Fetty. That the command and the control has not been there. 7 walks in his last 11.1 innings. That's not great. And you look at his road numbers, he's been a little bit more hittable away from home. Texas did some damage. Baltimore hit him for 5 runs at Camden Yards. So on the road, he's been a little more susceptible. I ended up taking the 3.5 over team total, Milwaukee. I didn't want to lay minus 160. I think they could do some damage. Plus the Cardinal bullpen. If you saw it against that Toronto against the Blue Jays in that series, that bullpen fell apart over and over again for St. Louis. So they might be able to score some runs late here, Milwaukee as well. So I like the Brewers team total. It's over 3.5 at like around minus 130. C-Mac, what do you think here?
Yeah, I think they could get there. I mean, the numbers are pretty staggering how they ripped Fetty. Some of these guys, Yelich, Contreras, going through it earlier today. They already got 7 off him earlier this year. Basically, his worst start. He's had some all right starts against this Brewers team. Maybe nothing crazy where he's given up 2 or 3. But yeah, the full Fetty. I mean, I just think he's pitched. As he's gotten older, he's more of a pitcher because he's not going to blow you away.
Right.
You know what I mean? He just doesn't have crazy put away stuff. But he still walks a few guys. And I just think the more we get him kind of on the road like this, he could get ripped. So I like the look here. This kind of moved more. It's kind of just stuck now. 165, 160. This line, I thought it might even move a little bit more. It was kind of a little bit of a bite back here.
That's a big move though, because even earlier today, I found as low as minus 130 with that 3.5. So it's definitely moved a little bit here throughout the course of the day. All right, Athletics and Royals. Luis Severino and Michael Waka Flocka Flame for the Royals. Kansas City minus 160 home favorites. The total here at 8.5 across the board. Michael Waka, I'll tell you what, overall, numbers pretty solid, but even more so here when he's pitched at Kauffman Stadium. I mean, he's really dialed it in nicely here in this ballpark for the Kansas City Royals. You look at his home numbers. He shut out Detroit. He gave up 1 run to St. Louis in his last 2 home starts. So he's been really good in this ballpark. Meanwhile, Severino absolutely destroyed in his last 2 starts, but we've hinted at this theme with Severino already on the Hitting the Books show throughout the season. Yeah, he's been hit around and smoked the last 2 starts. But those 2 starts were in Sacramento. On the road, Severino's actually been pretty solid. It's actually been where his best performances have been this season. On the road, he's had some of his best starts away from Sacramento. So there might be a chance after 2 bad starts that he can go on the road and kind of figure himself out here and bounce back a little bit. And it's not like the Royals lineup. We can trust them night in and night out. So could be an under. I lean that way. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, I couldn't get there though with this
First
under.
5 under because you do have bullpen concerns, especially for the A's. Yes.
Well, with the A's, yeah, I just there's just not too many games lately. This will flip, probably next month all the plays. I mean, they just played such bad baseball for so fucking long when they went 1-20, whatever it was. They got to say play it better. We've seen Royal games. I mean, they still have trouble scoring runs, but it's getting hot. That place can get some runs in the summertime. But yeah, in this game, I had to be off. I think the price is a little bit too big for the Royals, but I thought it was fair.
All right, next up, we've got the Twins and Astros, even money both sides, -110. We've got 8 the total, shaded to the under. Chris Paddock on the mound for the Twins. Colton Gordon, the lefty, here for the Astros. Colton Gordon has been it's funny, at home he's not been great, but his best start was actually on the road last time against Cleveland, where he only gave up 1 run. That being said, despite the 5.11 ERA for Colton Gordon in his last 5 starts for Houston, they're 4-1 with him on the mound. Chris Paddock's been very solid, very, very good for the most part. You can't argue with 2 runs or less in 5 straight starts, a 1.99 ERA, and yet the Twins are 1-4 in his last 5 starts. Why is that? Well, they haven't been hitting for him for the most part. A lot of these games, they're scoring 1 run, 2 runs, 1 run. That's just not going to get it done. And even in the last game against Toronto, he pitched well, but then the bullpen gives it up for the Twins in that game. And so another snake bit loss for a guy that's pitched pretty well, Chris Paddock. It's just a combination of bullpen implosions and no run support for the Twins when Paddock's on the mound. That's why he should have a better win-loss record in his last 5 starts than 1-4 with a 1.99 ERA, but there's just various circumstances that have caused him to lose games he shouldn't. But I would lean Twins, but here's the problem. The price. Twins are a losing team on the road, and Houston's 24-13 at home, and they're only -110. It doesn't feel like you're getting value here with Minnesota, so it's a pass for me. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think you are, but I think they're live here in this game. It's just a good matchup against these Astros, I think, for the Twins. Now it's Paddock. He's just been a lot better than when it just seemed like you want to fade this guy a lot, and he's gotten ripped. There's a few of these Astros that have hit him, of course. But I think the Twins here are live. One thing I wanted to look up was the last few weeks of the Twins bullpen. My thing is all frozen here, so I'll have to double check that. I don't know what the numbers are. I wanted to look at their bullpen a little bit.
Last 10 games, C-Mac. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm frozen.
Last 10 games, it's terrible. 7.05 ERA.
Okay.
It's awful. It really is that. So please, if you like the Twins, take them first 5 because that bullpen, you don't really want much.
Stroh's bullpen's been good all year, even though it's slipped a little bit, of late. But I mean, it's been a top 10 at least, 5 for most of the year,
All right, San Diego, Arizona, Padres, Diamondbacks. We've got Kolek on the mound for the Padres, Ryan Nelson for the Diamondbacks. 140 road home favorites here for the Diamondbacks, 9.5 being the total in this game. Kolek is someone that was a fade pitcher for me initially. Do I have to change my opinion is the question, because he's gone back-to-back starts, not giving up a run against San Francisco and Milwaukee. And you got to give him credit. 6 hits, shutout ball in his last 11 innings. So maybe I got to rethink things. Maybe he's getting better. Maybe I shouldn't be so eager to fade him. And I'm certainly not ready to lay -140 with Arizona and Ryan Nelson coming off a game where he got shelled by the Cincinnati Reds and an Arizona team that did have a nice series at home against Seattle. They won all 3 games. It's just a weird game for me. I want to see more from Kolek. I'm not. He should be wanting to back him if you look at the recent numbers for sure. But I don't know. I feel like Arizona's lineup in this ballpark versus Milwaukee and San Francisco, who he pitched in his last 2 games where he pitched the shutouts. I think this is a tougher task for Kolek. So I'm not ready to totally line up and trust him just yet. So all around, it's a tricky game. I have the slightest of leans to the over, but nothing strong. C-Mac, how about you? Padres, Diamondbacks.
Yeah, on the total, I think there can be runs. I think if you want the Diamondbacks, take it first 5. I can't back this team this at all full game. The bullpen is just dog shit.
Yeah.
Giving up plenty of leads lately, even at home. What's going on? This team should have a better record than what they are. 3-4-3. This might be the thing with Kolek where you could get ripped. So, 3rd straight start on the road. The last 2 where he hasn't given up anything. You don't just keep going on the road like this, especially a guy who I think can get hit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, D-backs early, first 5. But I think the Padres could score some runs. I talk about it late. So, over. There's a few guys. I think Merrill, that's one of my guys, Jack of the day. Plus 600 spot for him. 3 for 7.
Giants and Diamondbacks. Logan Webb for the Giants and Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers here. Dodgers minus 190, home favorite, 7 the total, 7.5 in some spots. At 7, I'm going to probably jump in small on this over, believe it or not, because Logan Webb, we know historically not as sharp on the road as he is at home. And Yamamoto to me is not someone that's just mowing along lately. Like he's still been for the most part pretty solid, but he has games now where he's given up a couple home runs, couple of been in some trouble in certain games. So 7 just, and with the way San Francisco has been hitting the ball lately, and obviously with what the Dodgers are capable of, and we saw the Dodgers score 5, 8, and 7 in 3 of their last 4 games. I'm kind of willing to take a shot here that at a 7 we can find our way over the total in this game. It's also worth noting 7-3 to the over in the last 10 meetings between the Giants and the Dodgers as well. So I just feel like we're overvaluing the starting pitchers just a little bit here. Webb's not nearly as good on the road as he is at home. And I don't think Yamamoto is some lights out pitcher. He's been really good, but 7 seems low. Just a touch for what I'm seeing from both lineups at the moment. So a little bit of on the over here, over 7 at minus 120 for me. Nothing on the side. Nothing on the side here for me. C-Mac, what do you think? Giants, Dodgers.
I mean, this is the Dodger rivalry too. Even though the Padres is a little bit, I saw that on X the other day. Like Giants, that's the only one they care about. Max Muncy said, which is true. And these games just are so tight all the time. One thing is though, like this is flipped. Webb's at home. You're with the Giants here, and with him, the Dodgers don't hit him as well. You know, he's had some problem starts. You know, none of them been awful, and even this year, his last few. But it seems like he just gives up 3, even if he's been, you know, pitching well, like he has this year. These road starts, they're kind of Detroit.
Yamamoto struggled against the Giants the one time he faced them was last year in May. Yeah,
he did. He got hit around a little bit, but I think the Dodgers. It seemed this line's moved already to them a bunch. The Dodgers aren't all the way healthy, so it's just tough for me to take them. You know, minus 1.5. But maybe this seems like the spot. And Webb, the 2 lefties I'm going to look at here, Freeman with great numbers, and Muncy as well. I think he has 3 homers, 9 for 26, 27. So those are the guys I'd look for against Webb tonight.
All right, final game next up, Cleveland Guardians and Seattle Mariners. We've got Gavin Williams and Luis Castillo. The matchup here, even money, minus 110, 7 the total. I think from a spot perspective, after getting their clocks cleaned a little bit by Arizona, who just waltzed in to town basically and did some damage. Actually, that was in Arizona, but did some damage against Seattle. Now Seattle comes back home, kind of licking their wounds a little bit. Obviously, they've had a rough go, right? 1-8 in their last 9 games. It's not like Cleveland's been much better, right? They're 2-5 in their last 7. They've been strong. These are 2 struggling teams right now at the moment. But who do you trust more? I trust Luis Castillo a little bit more. 2.4 ERA in his last. Now, I know he got roughed up by the Angels in his last start, but here in Seattle, he shut out the Twins, 6 strong innings. He shut out the Yankees. Well, it's not shut out the Yankees, but shut them down. 1 run in 6 innings at home against the Yankees. So Luis Castillo has pitched pretty well last 2 home starts. I'm not the biggest fan of Gavin Williams, and he's given up 9 runs in his last 16 innings, which isn't great by any stretch of the imagination, and I really don't always trust him on the road either. So after getting, it handed to them by Arizona on the road in that 3-game series. I think it's a nice situational bounce back spot coming back home. You got the pitcher on the mound that's been really good for you in this ballpark in Castillo. I think Seattle's a nice little spot play here, minus 110. C-Mac, what do you think here? Cleveland, Seattle.
I think it is too, but I don't want them right now. I just don't think they were, fuck. I don't want the baseball they've been playing. Shit, home or not. Early on, like 6, they were hitting on the road and not at home. I can't back them. And I get it. It's kind of basically cheap. I still think the Guardians are a little bit of the better team here. It's just what do we get from Gavin Williams, a guy I've wanted to back a little bit, but not enough because I kind of lean under. We're just not getting a bargain here at 7. So that leaves me that the Guardians are a little bit live as small dogs. I got to say, Nick, it's just not a rivalry what the Dodgers think. Has it become more of a rivalry? Yes. But for the longest time, they were we're nothing. That's why. But over the years, it's starting to become a rivalry. But I'm just talking about what the players, I think.
Yeah.
Not from
I personally think Padres,
Giants
more of a rivalry.
The last few years, it's starting to get going. And if they continue to stay really good, I think it become a really good rivalry. And it's been good the last 5 years. But before that, there was zero rivalry between them, other than the last 5 years. Zero. Compared to Dodgers Giants.
Oh, yeah. That's hard to deny that. I would agree with that. All right, it's time to go on to Jack of the Day here for this big Friday slate. Certainly, we got a lot to choose from as far as home run prop candidates tonight are concerned. I want to throw out Jackson Merrill. He's homered against Ryan Nelson once in 7 appearances. So there's a good
I'm already on it.
Yeah.
I gave that out earlier. Remember? I'm on it. It's 600 plus 600 too.
Yeah, it's a great price. I'm totally with you on that one. Wilson Contreras against Peralta. Even though I like Peralta tonight, you can't argue that guy has done some. How about Rhys Hoskins? Fucking 3 homers against Fenway.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. Brewers team total. By the way, both Contreras have unreal numbers in this thing in this game. Yeah.
Those are some good ones. No question about it as far as Jack of the Day candidates there. What else do we have? There was one other I think that I was thinking of. Schwarber. 3 of them against Gausman in the past. So there you go. Maybe Kyle Schwarber finds the seats here tonight as well. And Trout has one against Charlie Oldman Morton. So Mike Trout there for the LA Angels.
Our guy.
So there we go. Those are all some Jack of the Day candidates for me for this Friday. All right, good stuff. Let's wrap it up
here
for this Friday.
Before I give it, let me give the Jacks. So Merrill, I think Bellinger's live is small sample, but 4-5 on the homer. Just the last 2, because you hit on a couple of the other ones. I think Paredes might be one. You mentioned Contreras both brothers. Good numbers and swinging a hotter bat, as we were on Wilson the other day. But I talked about, I think it's one of these 2 guys. The RBIs, I think, are great price against Webb. Freeman's plus 160, Muncie's plus 210. And both their Jacks are plus 475. So I don't know if I'm going to be on both or one of those 2, but I think I'll be on there in that Dodger game.
All right, good stuff. A lot of good actually home run props. So hopefully we see a bunch of baseballs find the seats tonight in Friday night MLB action. All right, best bet, C-Mac, to wrap it up for not just the show but for the week here on Hitting the Books. Best bet. What do you got?
Yeah, I just posted it on X here. Give it a like. Give it all that good stuff. Rangers, White Sox, under 8.5. I just think it's too many runs. Unless the Rangers start blowing up again, give me the under here all day. Under.
There you go. White Sox, Rangers, under 8.5 for C-Mac for best bet for this Friday night. My best bet for this Friday slate, I had a tough choice here as far as a best bet, but I ended up deciding on the Milwaukee team total over 3.5. It's climbed a little bit, minus 130. Then it went up to minus 140. Shop around, see what's out there still. But Brewers team total over 3.5 for me. That's just too many good numbers against Fetty. Fetty's been worse on the road, and St. Louis is really starting to struggle again. It's not been a good last little bit here for the Cardinals. So we'll go with the Brewers team total over 3.5 for best bet.
Our guy Fetty Wap is going to. By the way, if you want, make a 4 too. You know, like for me, that number's gone too far up. Make the 4. I mean, if you think, because the 4.5 obviously is right around plus 125, 130. Just split it a little bit if you're not, just throwing that out there.
No doubt. Yeah. So that's definitely an option. I mean, certainly got the best of the price with that at minus 130, but then it's climbed throughout the day. I think 140, 150 is probably the best you can get with it right now. So if you want 4 instead, where you can get, closer to even money on that, it's definitely an option. But yeah, Brewers team total over for me for best bet. Shout out to the chat. Mark A, Nick Alvento, Richard S, Justin McKelvey, Daniel, Abu Na, we appreciate all of you guys. Join Thomas Maggio, Spoons Bets, Morgan Spooner, J Stone 9, everyone that joins us on the show. Thank you very Timothy Hay,
Truth Teller
at the beginning, Stephen Jackson. StreamYard outage happened, Stephen Jackson. That's why there was no Ice Guys show yesterday. Nothing you can do. StreamYard streaming provider, it was out when the show, so that's why there was no show yesterday. So unfortunate, but it's back up and running now, as you can clearly see. But thanks again to everybody that joins the show, subscribes to the channel, hits the like button. We appreciate it very much. Don't look now. 2 months from now, college football is back, and we'll be back every week breaking down the games early in the week.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. We're already starting to work on the prep for the upcoming season. So we're very much looking forward to that.
Just a little bit. I was going to really start going here in 2 or 3 weeks, but I got to say, baseball season, very, very good to me. Baseball at times could be a struggle and a grind.
Yep.
But when it's going well, like this year has for me, there's no complaints. So I am happy baseball.
That's what it is. Anything's better when you're winning, but especially baseball, because when it's losing and how it grinds on, and it's 162 games and they play every day, no, it could really get at you mentally when you're struggling in this sport, even more than, say, when you're struggling in football or basketball, because at least with those sports, you're going to get some days off and you're going to get some chance to clear the head a little bit. Baseball, they're at it every damn day from April right through to October. So,
and the cap, like the week cap, is always grueling with college football and NFL, but it's just the flip around with so many games. It's always the deepest cap to me. The MLB card, especially on like a big card like this, like on Friday.
Yeah, no question. And like I said, deep card on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I always scale back because it's always dicey. Players are resting.
I do too, a little bit. I try to look for unders in certain spots. Getaway day Sunday, because Sundays could be a bloodbath at times. Even Saturday too.
That's why I don't mind not doing a Sunday show. You're not missing much because I don't have anywhere close to the action on a Sunday in MLB as I do most of the other days of the week. But we appreciate all you guys. Thanks again. Great week of shows. We'll be back with you next week. For Connor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, with another edition of the MLB Hitting the Books show. Until then, class dismissed.